Hi, and welcome to Debunk File. My name is Sep, and today we're going to be talking about the Denver airport. Now before this video begins, if you'd like to see behind the scenes and extra stuff involving our channel, make sure to check out our Instagram at DebunkFile and our Twitter at TrueGIF. And if you want to be a true part of the community, definitely consider checking out the Discord at DebunkFile. There's also our Patreon, also at DebunkFile. It would mean the world if you guys considered being one, and with that, you get some really nice rewards. Finally, I want to give a quick shout out to Fresh Kitty for suggesting this topic to us. Thank you so much. In the United States, there are over 5,000 airports safely bringing people to whatever destinations they set off to. And out of all these airports, there is just one that stands out, the Denver airport. Arriving in 1995, the Denver airport was created to replace the old airport that was there, known as the Stapleton Airport. Now, of course, they were given a budget to build their new airport, and the original commission was for $1.8 billion, but the airport, for whatever reason, finished 2 years late for a cost of $4.8 billion. And the craziest part is, the airport was privately funded, but we'll get back to that. Anyways, before you even enter the airport, you'll already see something incredibly odd. Gazing down upon you is a 33-foot blue Bronco with bright red glowing eyes, which is commonly thought to be a nod to the four horsemen of the apocalypse. Yeah, kinda strange to say the least, but once you enter the airport, it only gets stranger. Once you enter, you will notice the paintings, and wow, they are odd. This first painting here depicts a man in a gas mask, which is shielding him from this gray gas, while he slays doves of peace. So basically, he is shielding himself from some sort of biological weapon. And then there's this one, which has the backdrop of a burning city and features a girl holding a Mayan tablet, which alluded to the supposed end of the world back in 2012. The Mayans predicted a rebirth after this though, which would explain why the penguin and bird are being preserved. This next mural shows the gas mask guy, who is now dead, with two doves resting on his body, signifying a return to peace, or a rebirth. The last mural shows that the world is now in peace, and even though the world is way less populated now, it's a new world. The one last really important one I must show is this. This is a dedication stone which apparently rests on top of a time capsule for the people of Colorado. Now, that's pretty weird in and of itself, but that's not even the important part. The important part is what this stone says. Remember how the place was funded for a gargantuan $4.8 billion? Well, here we get a name drop of the company that funded it, the New World Airport Commission. But guess what? The company doesn't even exist. So yeah, as you can see, this airport is incredibly strange. So strange that a plethora of conspiracy theories rose up over the years. And while I'm normally very against those type of things, the ones involving this airport are very interesting to me and seem more grounded than most. So, let's talk about them. So according to most, it is commonly believed that this new airport was built to conceal an underground base that was being worked on. What is the underground base for? Well, according to the theory, most people point to the murals as evidence that it could be used to shield the elites from a war or genocide involving biological weaponry. The dedication stone from earlier mentions a company that does not exist, known as the New World Airport Commission, which sounds incredibly similar to the New World Order. And if you aren't familiar with it, it is basically the idea that a secretive power elite is conspiring to eventually rule the world. The New World Order would be a government that would rule by restricting the freedoms of individuals. The thing that sort of grounds this is the fact that there is actual bunkers beneath the airport. Like, that isn't a theory, it's been proven true, and there's a lot underground. 460,000 square feet to be exact. There are also a lot more military installations in Colorado than you would ever expect. For starters, relatively close to the airport you have Cheyenne Mountain, which is a hollowed out mountain that is used for the military and communications. Near that, we also have the Air Force Academy and Schriever Air Force Base. Elsewhere in Colorado, you've got the U.S. Space Command, Buckley Air Force Base, and the Pueblo Chemical Depot. So yeah, placing something like this in Colorado would definitely make sense. Ironically, there is a very small thing that actually became arguably the most well-known thing about the airport, and that is the swastika runway. This alleged runway has essentially nothing to do with the aforementioned conspiracy at all, so I'm just writing it off as a coincidence. Also, the runway looking like a swastika is a stretch in and of itself. It barely even looks like one. The reason why the runway looks like this in the first place is that it's simply a really efficient way for planes to arrive and depart without their movements overlapping each other. So if you strongly believe in this swastika situation, just know that it's nothing more than a coincidence. Not only does it not look too much like a swastika, but it looks that way for a very specific reason. So that is basically the major conspiracy theory going on with this place. It's shielding a bunker that will secure the elites during biological warfare, and the airport is owned by the New World Order. Now, what we're going to do is attempt to debunk this, of course. One thing that is very commonly pointed to as being evidence that this place was made to cover up an underground bunker is the fact that there was nothing wrong with the previous airport, known as the Stapleton Airport. According to most, the Stapleton Airport was perfectly serviceable, so randomly replacing it for such a high price is kind of fishy. As far as I'm concerned though, it was actually replaced for very valid reasons. Nothing seemed inherently wrong with it from the surface, as it wasn't too dirty or anything. But I did come across legit reasons as to why it was replaced, and it all comes down to those runways again. Stapleton's runways were clumsy. There were 6 of them, but they crossed each other, so only 3 could be used at a time. For a city that is constantly growing like Denver, this is a problem. Another issue with these runways was that only 3 of them ran up to 10,000 feet, which was barely long enough for these jets to take off. Like we said, the new runways made everything efficient. There were 5 runways and none of them cross, and they are longer than 10,000 feet. Stapleton, especially by the entrance, was also too small, and this was made very obvious during bad weather. There's also one last piece of art that I purposely did not mention until now, and that is this. It simply says AUAG. Now apparently, one of the founders of the airport found a deadly strain of hepatitis known as Australian antigen, and it is also called AUAG. The thing is though, this sign is very clearly meant to be the signs of gold and silver. Colorado has a very long history of mining, so this was very clearly made to reflect that. Speaking of art, let's talk about all that now. As we showed earlier, this place has extremely odd art. Whether that be the giant red-eyed horse or the murals, which are evidence that there will be biological warfare. Or not. Here's what the art really means. According to the creator of the art, his murals tell a hopeful story of peace following times of war and environmental pollution. As for the giant horse, they made his eyes glow as a nod to the artist's father, who apparently only worked with neon signs. Now let's get on to one of the big ones, which is the underground bunkers. Why were they really made? Well, there are a number of uses, the largest of which is for ferrying luggage and baggage. Roughly 1,000 people work down there for this reason alone, in a series of 7,000-foot-long tunnels that run alongside the airport's underground trains. The fact that the airport also has let people come down here before essentially rules out the theory of there being anything truly significant down there. Now for the biggest mystery of them all. Who is the New World Airport Commission? Well, the New World Airport Commission was named by Charles Ansbacher, who was an arts advocate. According to him, the name was a reference to the New World Symphony, which is an orchestral academy. This name was given to a group of local politicians and business people who helped fund the airport's construction. So as you can see, this entire theory and all of its cogs were debunked. There's not a single piece of evidence that truly shines any light onto this conspiracy at all. And if you want any more proof, let's take a look at the airport's action recently. Since 2016, they have 100% fully embraced the weirdness of this place. The CEO of the airport sees it as, if you deny the theories, you lose. You try to explain everything, you lose. So she decided to have fun with it. How, you may ask? Well, during one week in 2018, they were remodeling. A sign was put up to say, remodeling the lizard people's lair. An obvious nod to what some people think are down in the bunkers. There are various other funny construction posters meant to troll theorists too. They even have let a couple other people besides journalists down into the bunkers before. The CEO also said that a huge reason they embrace these theories is that it gives them publicity, which is undoubtedly true. That also makes me wonder though, was the art purposely weird the entire time? The only thing left to say is simply a question. If there actually was something down in the basement, why would they give it any attention at all? Why would they have murals explaining the paintings? It just doesn't add up. So yeah, I can confidently say that this mystery is debunked. The Stapleton Airport was replaced for very valid reasons. The art in the place was proven to have meanings that didn't involve the conspiracy. The bunkers are predominantly used to ferry baggage, and the New World Airport Commission was simply named after the New World Symphony, and was given to a group of local politicians and businessmen who funded the project. So yeah, this was a very interesting mystery, but there were logical explanations for everything. Really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did and wanted to help us grow, word of mouth is the best way for us to grow. Spread this video to everybody you know. As always, my name is Seb from Debunk File. See you guys next time. Bye.